So another dancer myself closed on a very high price champagne room last weekend, and it was really great. My customer was really nice. I had found like an immediate way to connect with him. I connected with him over food. I've been cooking a lot lately. I've been making a lot of like authentic Mexican dishes lately, and I can tell that he really liked to eat as well. So I connected with him over authentic Mexican food, and the guy that she had was much harder to connect with, and I could see like her interactions with him were very much like him throwing the ball at her at like whatever he could toss, and her trying to deflect over and over again. He was getting really grabby with her, and then even would like try with me like I wasn't gonna notice, like you're trying to put your finger up my stuff. So I wanted to bring this up because this happens a lot where you yourself are experiencing this, or you're seeing it happen to another dancer. First of all, it's not your fault. It's not your fault the guy is being that way. It's not that dancer's fault that the guy is being that way. That's his own his own entitlement at work there. So not making any excuses for the behavior that these customers sometimes have, where they think they can manhandle us in what is a champagne room, which is them paying for our time, not for anything extra. If extras are on the table, they pay extra for that, if that's your thing. So my point is sometimes we get into these situations where we're focused so much on what we don't want to happen that the thing happens that we don't want to happen. And like I said, I'm not blaming the dancer for this guy's behavior, but I'm saying is in anything in life, like you could be focused on me personally. Okay, here's a good example. I have been self-employed for most of my life, and what I've always been most afraid of is getting locked down to a 9-to-5 job working for someone else, like working on someone else's dime. My biggest fear in life is not having autonomy over my career, my finances, and things like that. But because I was always so afraid of that, and I never took time to focus on what I do actually want to create to achieve autonomy and financial independence and all those things, I ended up having many weak moments throughout my career where I would backtrack and think, oh, this is a pipe dream. I have to go work for someone else. This is the only alternative. I'd always say, oh my God, if I end up in a 9-to-5 in an office, I'm gonna just kill myself. I can't handle it. Okay, because I didn't plan things, I ended up inadvertently making that choice, and I put myself in a position where I got into an industry that would require me to sit behind a desk for 8 to 9 hours a day in a 9-to-5, staring at a computer screen, doing stuff that I don't really want to do. And not to knock it, I may end up doing some of that, but I don't want that to be a majority of my day, my waking hours, right? I'm okay with doing some of that, provided that it helps me achieve getting somewhere where I do get that autonomy and financial independence. So my point is this dancer was focused more on what she didn't want to happen instead of finding an alternative in what she did want to happen. I'm not blaming her for that. I'm just saying it's easier to see it when you're on the outside than when you're actually experiencing it. And because I was the person on the outside, I could see what was happening. So there was a moment in the champagne room where we switched customers, and because I could tell she had had enough. So I get the guy, and I'm like, okay, I see this type of customer. He wants to grab. He thinks he's entitled to everything, and I'm gonna have to find a way to not get this to happen. So I'm thinking, I don't want this to happen. When I'm thinking what I don't want to happen is not gonna help me get to what I do want to happen. Well, what do I do want to happen? I want to connect with this guy. How am I gonna connect with this guy? How am I gonna connect with this guy? I had to figure out like what makes him real. What is it about him that's real, and what is it about me that's real? So I start asking him questions, and within just a couple minutes, and I can't remember what it was now, but I had figured him out to where he could start to see me as being an authentic person worthy of respect, and not someone that he was going to manhandle. And you probably don't believe me, but I got that guy and the rest of this room together to lay down next to me and rub my fucking back and not try to grab any parts of my body without my consent. I got this guy to sit there and talk to me and not grab me. So like I said, it's not your fault that the customers act that way, but we can find ways to work deeper down into them and get to the heart of like why they're really there. so that we can get them to do what we want them to do, which is to focus on treating us with respect. So when your customer is getting like that and they're acting out of hand, start asking yourself, why is he here? And ask him, like, so why did you come here tonight? What is it that you're really, wanting? Why do you like this? Why do you do this job? Why is that your hobby? Why? So you can start to figure out like what it is he values, and you start pushing on that button, and you start bringing it around to really how he could be his best self. Why do people pay a lot of money to go to champagne rooms with dancers? Yes, they want to be entertained, but that money, that large sum of money they're spending, says a lot about like who they are, how they got to where they are, what they've earned to get there, and where it's going to take them. So your job as the entertainer is to remind them why they're such a valuable person. And I'm pretty sure that most guys in there that are acting cheap, manhandling you without your consent, they know they're not of their best self when they're doing that. So what we can do to try to turn it around and not have a terrible remaining 55 minutes in a champagne room is to try to remind them how they can be their best selves, be their best selves. So I know it's not easy, and it's not going to happen like the first time or the second time you get a character like this, but it's something that you can work into and try to come to the situation with difficult customers with empathy and try to understand, why is he acting this way? Why does he feel so entitled? What is it that he's missing in his life? What is it that he really cares about? Why does he care about that thing? How can I get him to tell me about that thing? How can I get him to show him that he's not behaving as his best self without insulting him? How can I get him to act in such a way where he's exhibiting the value that he spent here tonight to match the value that I'm bringing into this room? How can I get him to show himself that he's worth that much? So hopefully that will help you turn things around so that you can leave that hour feeling as your best self, that customer can leave that hour feeling his best self, and that everyone leaves happy. So any other questions, feel free to DM me, message me here. I'll always be here for you. And go get that money.